We are taking the words of Proverbs 6 this week as a warning about the things that God hates and the 7 things that are an abomination to him. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. We must take these items seriously and hate them as much as God hates them. This is especially true when we witness these actions or these ways in our own lives. He says in Proverbs 6:16, these 6 things the Lord hates, yes, 7 are an abomination to him, a proud look and a lying tongue. God hates that lying tongue. It may help us to see how God sees lying among men, because most often we see that little white lie as not really being all that wrong. Yet, in Hosea chapter 4 and verse 2, he says, by swearing and lying, by killing and stealing, by committing adultery, they break all restraint. Notice there how God is characterizing lying along with murder and stealing and even adultery. We must see lying as that abomination to our God. And actually, we need to see that the same way ourselves. The Proverbs always show us great contrasts. In Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 22, he says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. God delights in our being totally truthful and honest with others. Also, in Psalm 119, where God's word is highlighted throughout this chapter, he says, I hate and abhor lying, but I love your law. Now, there is a great contrast between man and his lying lips and God and his faithful and truthful word. If we come to abhor lying like God does, it would change our encounters with our neighbors or with our family, perhaps with our boss, and even with ourselves for that matter. Because 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4, he speaks pretty bluntly when he says, he that says, I know him, and keeps not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. John says it shows in the way that we live. Sometimes our lying is in our actions. There are many in the world today around us who would make up lies to destroy another person's reputation, or perhaps even to try to elevate themselves in other people's eyes. Psalm 31:18 says, let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak insolent things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. That is how they falsely accuse Christians with their lies, the things that they make up. Paul encourages Christians in the New Testament church in Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 25. Therefore, putting away lying, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. He says in the New Testament church and among believers, when we treat others with love, we will stop lying. Perhaps we should pray the prayer of Psalm 119:29, where he says, remove from me the way of lying and grant me your law graciously. When I follow his commandment, I am drawn to be truthful in all things with all people. We need to watch ourselves today, especially when we're tempted to be a little less than honest. We need to say, I hate and abhor lying. Lord, remove this from me. And help me to have the same mind that God does on these issues, especially with that proud look and that lying tongue.